I love theater, so anything theater, I'm all about it. That whole scene is how I got started. So I started doing children's theater with East Valley Children's Theater when I was in junior high school. And there they taught you kind of how to do the basic theater makeup, and it's pretty standard, but it's definitely like theater makeup. It has a purpose. And from there, I just started collecting different makeup products and seeing what I could buy and just playing at home. And that kind of sparked my interest to do more character makeup. So it all kind of started with theater, and I still have a huge passion for theater. And now I actually do makeup for East Valley Children's Theater sometimes. And that's way cool to kind of work with the people who taught me a little bit at first. And that's just really special. I got certified in Scottsdale at Maxima School of Makeup Artistry. It was an intensive learning course, so I did it for about 6 to 8 months around, and I was there almost every day, learning everything from bridal beauty makeup, prom makeup, to the nitty-gritty like zombie looks and bald caps and character makeup. So you want to do a zombie, like I'm there. That's the coolest thing ever, like getting messy. What you see in the beginning is definitely not what it looks like at the end of the process. So since then, I've been kind of growing my business and doing makeup for anybody who really needs it. And that's the cool thing, is that at some point, most people want it, whether they're going out and it's, just a girls' night, or Halloween's fast approaching and Dia de los Muertos is just around the corner starting in November. Everybody's looking for those character makeups, and people want to do it professionally. People want to get it done right. And we're going to show you a little bit of what that looks like. This is JJ. He's our model today. So I'm just going to start with some lotion because skin gets dry, and when you don't have anything on underneath and you're putting anything on your skin, it's not going to stick as well. So when you have any type of brand of makeup, whether it's eyeshadow or like a cool color, and people are like, it's not staying on my face right, it's probably because you're not using the right primer, or it also could be bad makeup. But for the most part, if you have a good primer or a lotion underneath, you'll be fine. This is just going to be on the face because when you look at the Sugar Skull makeup, sometimes it goes down the neck, but we're just going to keep it right around here. So I'm using brands like Ben Nye and Krylon, which make really good cream-based makeups for the majority of the look. What I like to do is use pencil liners to almost outline the look at first, because when you put some cream-based makeups on, they're kind of hard to take off if you make any errors at all, and I'm not perfect by any means. So always have those on hand, some liquid liner just in case, black lipstick, also nice. Got some brushes right here, and that's about it. I also used some Senna Vivid Access black, let me open this up, black eyeshadow. It's really pigmented, it gives me the look that I want. And then some setting powder for when we're all finished. I'm just gonna start with a white cream base from Ben Nye. Keeping a straight face is usually good for me. If I tell you to close your eyes, you're gonna close your eyes. Parting your lips, just kind of listening to your makeup artist while she's doing your makeup is probably a good thing to keep in mind. Kind of going at their pace as well as your own is kind of important if they're not really used to it. Especially children, just kind of keeping in mind their boundaries as well as yours is important. A good rule of thumb for me is starting at the top and working your way down. You run your hand over things, you mess it up if you're not careful. So even when you're doing beauty makeup or something like that, it's just, everybody does it differently. I do it that way. One of the coolest jobs I've ever done was one for the Arizona EMT services, and they do scenarios for their students to react on the spot. And they actually did one where they were live actors that got in a car accident. We had to recreate head wounds and broken bones and everything so that the EMT students knew what was going on and everything was almost realistic. And that was super cool. We had a team of makeup artists doing that, and it was just, kind of working on the spot. We had 10 minutes maximum to create a fatal head wound, and that's not a lot of time. As a perfectionist, as I know a lot of makeup artists are, it's something you just gotta learn. Time is of the essence. People are waiting on you for the most part. You're the first to get there and you're the last to leave. So that's usually the rule of thumb for most makeup artists, whatever job they're doing. We're gonna create a little spiderweb design on his forehead, and I'm just kind of marking out where the lines are gonna go. Just by doing this, if I make a mistake or if it's not symmetrical, I can easily just go back with the white and redo it. You can see this is a little higher than this one, so I'm just gonna kind of blot it out a little bit. The cool thing about the Dia de los Muertos is that you can be as creative as you want. With most artistic things, you go to school, you learn your basics, but then it's all up to you because things change. The makeup changes, what people want change. I'll usually have people send me pictures of things that they like, things that they don't like especially, because even if they're like, oh, I don't know, do whatever you want, there's definitely something you don't want me to do. You definitely don't like the color pink. You definitely don't want a spider web on your forehead. Like people have preferences. So especially doing things for something so fun as Halloween, you want to give people what they want because it's so fun. And I want them to be happy because if they can't do it and they want somebody else to do it for them, that's really important. I did a whole family of zombies, which was so cool. It was 2 dads and then their 3 kids, and they were pretty young too. And so that was really fun to kind of do the whole family, and that's what they do every year. They do a huge family costume. When you're doing character makeup, you need something that's pigmented and it's gonna work. So especially for theater, when you're so far away, man, you gotta make sure it's gonna stay on, and you gotta make sure that it's showing from the farthest seat in the house. If you're doing special effects makeup, the biggest thing there is latex. That's a huge thing that I use and a lot of people use as well to create texture on the skin that might look like it's burning or you had a cut or a gash or whatever. Like latex is a pretty common allergy, so that's something I always ask people when they ask me to do special effects things or to like apply a prosthetic on their face. Latex. Are you allergic to it? Yes or no? If not, we'll find an alternative. When I played around makeup when I was like in junior high or something, and I didn't have latex, I didn't really knew it existed, or like an adhesive like spirit gum, I would use eyelash glue to kind of and let it dry, and it would create textures and stuff. So if you're like low on budget, I guess you could use that and play around with it. It might not be the best thing to put on your skin all over the place, but it's still fun. So these are just a little pop of color outside the eye. I worked on a short film. It was a horror short, and the character that they wanted created was like a Slender Man character where there's no features, so it was just skin, and there wasn't eyes, there wasn't a nose or a mouth. That was interesting. Those people had to sit in my chair for a while because it was just a lot of application. So sometimes models just have to be patient. I prefer to do things more organically, kind of working as I go. I like having a plan, but most artists know that when you have a plan, it's not going to look like that afterwards. Not because you're not a good artist, but just because things happen. You might find a different color that you like more. I wasn't expecting to do purple today, but here I am doing purple because I'm just feeling it right now. Makeup artists have makeup palettes, things that are easy to clean off. I have one. I use it for some jobs, but sometimes it's just easier to kind of test some things out. Just kind of making a fine line, thick line, what it looks like, how much pigment you have on your brush. I usually just use the back of my hand. I did a Wicked Witch makeup the other day, and the makeup I used was an alcohol base, and that's really hard to get off your hands. And I didn't even think about it. So I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna color my entire hand. I had like green underneath my fingernails for a really long time. So a way you can spot a makeup artist is look at their hands because they might be dyed a different color. So I actually strategically placed this to kind of sink in to his cheeks, make him look a little bit more like a skeleton. When it comes to the Day of the Dead makeup, it's pretty popular to do bright colors all around. I really love just adding those 1 or 2 colors that really pop from the black. That's personal preference. So this is what I would use to like scoop out something and then just put it on like a bigger palette, or sometimes it just or mixing colors. If I just need a little bit, I'll just do it on here. That way it's easy. You can just like wipe it off pretty quick. I always have a towel underneath, keep things clean. So that's pretty important. And honestly, I feel like when people are doing makeup or makeup like this, or they're just playing around, they're so scared to mess up or that they'll choose the wrong color. But if I didn't like that yellow, I can just take it off and put a different color there. The lips, if you're doing Halloween, you're gonna be the first thing to go. So I tend to do a pencil around the lips if I'm doing like a skeleton, just because it'll stay on the best. I know that. You're gonna be eating, you're gonna be drinking, licking your lips. Nice little Q-tip. I like these because one side's for eyeshadow, one side specifically for like lips. So they're pretty versatile. A little bit, a couple bucks more than a regular Q-tip, but it's worth it if you're doing makeup. Especially disposable stuff if you're doing theater and you're working on a lot of people. For Halloween character makeup, I would say 1 to 2 hours, 2 hours max. Usually we'll have talked before, we'll know what the game plan is. I try to make it as short as possible for the time that you're in the chair, because I know that you want to get ready, you want to get going. If you're thinking about doing something super complex, we can talk about it. There's a lot of different components that go into each look. The amount of makeup, the type of makeup, and those components also influence the time you're in the chair and me applying the makeup. If there's prosthetics involved, it's all so specific. I like to just go over everything a little bit, just making sure that it's all looking good. This is the last thing that I'm gonna do. Anytime there's like a lot of white, you go over it again just because powder might have fallen. There might be a color where you don't want to color. Just little things like that. It's scary. So this is the completed Dia de los Muertos look. I do work all around the East Valley, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Gilbert, you name it. But I'm from Chandler, and you can find me anywhere online at erinrossmakeup.com or Erin Ross Makeup on Facebook and Instagram. You run into so many different people with different features, and it's so interesting to kind of have a new canvas each time. It's about highlighting those characteristics that make us all unique and make people feel beautiful, and that's the ultimate goal, is making them feel good in their skin and that it was all worth it, you know?